delivering top-notch service since 2004 with a team of skilled technicians boasting extensive training on some of the biggest names in the business like Cummins, Caterpillar, John Deere, Volvo, and more. They focus on providing exceptional industrial engine service and generator power system maintenance and repair. Check them out on the web at absolutepowersystems.com. Absolute Power Systems, powering your business absolutely.
When life takes an unexpected turn, you need someone in your corner. The Region Lawyers stand up for you when it matters most. Facing criminal charges, injured in an accident, our experienced legal team is ready to fight for your rights and protect your future. We believe every client deserves personal attention, honest guidance, and relentless representation. In the region, we take care of our own, and we are proud to stand up for the people of our community. Call the Region Lawyers today at 219-750-9380 for a free consultation. The Region Lawyers, the gold standard for legal representation.
Four Seasons Mechanical proudly serves Northwest Indiana, providing quality, reasonably priced, reliable service. With a quality and comfort guarantee, the professionals at Four Seasons Mechanical offer a wide range of services in heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. Whether it's residential or commercial, Four Seasons Mechanical is there 24/7. To find out more, the website is fourseasonsmechanical.com or give them a call at 219-756-7020. Four Seasons Mechanical, your indoor air quality specialist.
Earn while you learn from the best hands in the business. The Bricklayers Allied Craftworkers for Indiana, Kentucky Apprenticeship. That's right, this is a paid apprenticeship.
I'm getting an education while learning a trade and getting paid for it.
The thing that surprised me the most about this apprenticeship program is the respect I've received after the proper time and training.
Classes start soon, so apply now. There are training centers throughout Indiana and Kentucky. We are the Bricklayers and Allied Craftworkers for Indiana, Kentucky Apprenticeship. The best hands in the business.
The Game Night Forecast is brought to you by our friends at Economy Electric Heating and Cooling. Today's forecast in Elkhart, it's 50 degrees currently, with temperatures expected to rise into the high 60s throughout the afternoon, with winds making the temperature feel a little bit cooler, but overall a good day in mid-March here. That's the Friday Night Forecast brought to you by Economy Electric Heating and Cooling, keeping you cool in the summer and cozy in the winter. So, Doug, as we continue to get ready for this matchup between the Bulldogs and the Panthers, what is the key for each team to start strong here in the first quarter?
I think for Crown Point, you rely on your defense. I know they've got the fourth highest offense in the state at 74 points a game, but a lot of those points come off their defense. So I think they've been riding their defense here this postseason and the majority of the regular season. So I just continue to play that great defense. And if you're Fort Wayne Snider, just be physical. Be physical. I think they've got, the little bit of a advantage there with the physical a part of the ball game. And again, we've talked about it, Leo. They're going to control whoever controls the paint area wins the game. I know from the perimeter people fall in love with the 3-point line, but whoever wins in those trenches, that's who's going to win the ball game.
Absolutely. As we'd like to remind everyone that tonight's live stream is powered by Absolute Power Systems in Griffith, providing exceptional service for industrial engines, pumps, and generator power systems. For more info, visit AbsolutePowerSystems.com. Absolute Power Systems, powering your business absolutely. They are still just moments away from tip-off. As the winner of this game now, the advantage playing the second game. We saw a good matchup between Northridge and Homestead, with Northridge getting the win earlier. So the Northridge fans hanging around doing some scouting of both these teams, and for the Bulldogs and the Panthers, you want to make sure you don't get caught looking ahead, knowing who the opponent is for the semi-state championship.
Yeah, again, there's always the talk of who's got the advantage, the first game guy or the second game guy. Northridge is either here chilling out or they're in a hotel room sleeping,
right,
getting off their feet. So the quick turnaround that Crown Point's got to make, that second game team, there always seems to be a disadvantage. So we'll see how that plays out.
As it is time for the national anthem, so we will turn it down to the public address announcer, as we will then have the starters and game time between Bulldogs and Panthers here on the Region Sports Network.
Elkhart High School Executive Principal Phil Schultz, as well as Athletic Director Jackie Ross, would like to welcome Crown Point High School's Principal Marcinek, Athletic Director Bill Tarula, and Head Coach Clint Swan to Northside Gym. Now let's meet the team for the visitors on the scoreboard. With a record of 23-1, the Crown Point Bulldogs. Number 0, Jack Fox. Number 3, Hayden Rose. Number 4, Michael Wilson. Number 5, Christian Hughes. Number 25, Reed Matthews. Number 30, Leo Atkins. And number 34, Nathan Krowski. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the starting five for Crown Point. A 5'9" senior, number 2, Kingston Rose. A 6'2" senior, number 10, Mason Darrell. A 6'3" junior, number 11, Bryce Peter. A 6'7" senior, number 23, Youngman John. And a 6'7" junior, number 35, Cooper Pulaski. And now, ladies and gentlemen, Albright would like to welcome Fort Wayne Snider High School Principal Chad Lisa, Athletic Director Steve Zanova, and Head Coach Josh Raikonen to Northside Gym. And now, the players for the home team on the scoreboard with a record of 20-7. Ladies and gentlemen, Fort Wayne Snider Panthers. First starters, number 0, Jordan Davis. Number 1, Jordan Woods. Number 4, Shamar Reddick. Number 10, Tariko Fields. Number 14, Jace Quarles. Number 23, Donovan Wembley. And number 24, Chance Russell. And now the starting five for a 6'4" senior, number 3, Xavier Wilson. A 6'2" senior, number 5, Clay Patterson. A 6'2" junior, number 11, Trent Hall. A 6'1" junior, number 21, Braylon Burrow. And a 6'6" junior, number 34, Ikram Pascal. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to semi-state Elkhart game number 2. Let's play some basketball.
So we are ready to begin here at Northside Gym as the Bulldogs and Panthers ready to take the floor for Crown Point. It will be Mulaski, Shaw, Peters, Darrell, and Rhodes. And for the Panthers, we will see Wilson, Patterson, Pascal, DeRosit, and Woods on the floor. Snider wearing white uniforms with yellow numbers, while the Bulldogs wearing red uniforms with white numbers. Shaw wins the tip, and we're underway. The Bulldogs moving from our right to our left as Mulaski handles it at the point. Tries to swing it down low, but the pass pinballs around, and it's intercepted by the Panthers. They move from defense to offense as Wilson crosses midcourt. Wilson sends it to the right wing, gets it to Fertile, and there will be an early stop as the ball gets knocked out of bounds, so the Bulldogs will take over.
Yeah, both teams starting out a little half-court man-to-man. Both offenses working out some kinks, some nerves a little bit, turning the ball over.
Rhodes works it to Mulaski. He scans the floor, looks for a partner, goes back to Kingston Rhodes on the right side. Rhodes works his way to the line, pulls up, sends it high off the window, no good. Rebounded by Snider. Down the floor, they take it left side, where Pascal works it, gets it to Hogue. Back to Pascal near the left corner. Fertile takes it to the baseline and then loses his footing out of bounds. Shaw works him outside.
We saw earlier a couple weeks ago when they played Lake Central, Crown Point, that Lake Central was very physical with Shaw, and we'll see how he responds to that because he was getting pushed around in the post already by Fort Wayne Snider post defense.
The Bulldogs cycle it left side. Now Mulaski takes it in the middle, works it to Darrell at the right wing, lofts it into the post to Shaw. He meets a double team down low, tries to advance it forward. Underneath the basket, he draws a crowd, and the Panthers take it away. Shaw with a couple attempts there, but couldn't send it to the cup. So we are still scoreless with just over a minute 15 in the books.
Got 3 good looks.
Left side, it's Fertile. Works it to the logo, where it'll be Hogue taking a look at his options. Plays catch with Pascal, the 6'6" junior. Works it just inside the key, and it's Wilson filling it up for a long 2. The Panthers strike first. Darrell has it on the right side, drives his way through traffic, and tosses it up for 2.
Yeah, I love the paint touches. I'm going to say that a lot today, Leo. Get used to it.
So all even at 2 with 6:10 left to play in the opening quarter. Wilson brings it over midcourt, being shadowed by Peters. Right side gets it to Patterson, but then there's a foul away from the ball as Shaw goes tumbling down to the floor.
Yeah, we'll see. As we said, Shaw's been kind of he's contributed in other ways, but as far as scoring, he hasn't really done much last couple 2-3 games. But we'll see who's going to step up and be the hero here for the Bulldogs today.
Kingston Rhodes crosses midcourt. He's been averaging just over 11 points per game on the season, as now Mulaski tries a topside 3, and he knocks it down.
Mulaski's to me, he's like a Manning. He's like part of the Manning family, right? He just looks like a clean-cut, hard-working guy and just does the little things for a team to win.
He was open at the top of the arc there, so he pulled up and made the three-pointer, as now the Bulldogs will get a turnover, get to inbound it from just past midcourt. 5:37 left to play in the first quarter. Crown Point leads 5-2.
Yeah, that's 3 turnovers for them already. You got to get, you can't have empty possessions.
Rhodes finds Peters at the wing, and then when he was taking a look, there was some trouble in the paint. As there would be a foul away from the ball as Shaw kind of drew that one.
Yeah, they're down screening and Snider switching, Leo, so that leaves him open. It leaves a guard guarding Shaw, and that's a really good look for the Bulldogs. That's a scouting report look there.
As right off the inbound, Shaw hooks it in for 2, makes it a 7-2 advantage for Crown Point. A little bit over 5 minutes remaining in the first quarter. Snider trying to make something happen at the left wing. Wilson cranks up a three-pointer, and he rolls it in.
Love a good-looking lefty jumper, man.
Wilson brings the Panthers within 2, trailing 7-5. Shaw has it at the point, fakes the three-pointer, takes it through the lane, tries to bring the right-handed hammer, but it's no good. Now Peters regroups. They work it left side. Darrell, his three-point attempt is good.
They're moving the ball. Like I said, they share the basketball. The ball's moving, people are moving. That's hard to guard.
Mason Darrell gets involved in the scoring, makes it a 10-5 advantage for Crown Point. As Wilson brings it forward. Left side, it's Pascal. Looking for Wilson, but Darrell swipes it away. Darrell has a 2-on-1 with Rhodes on the right side. Darrell takes it, and his left-handed layup is good. And there's a foul.
Nice, strong decision there by Darrell. I thought he might give it up and get it back, but good decision by the senior there.
So the Panthers take a timeout, trying to cool off the Bulldogs as we await the free throw from Darrell. Crown Point leads 12-5 with 4.5 minutes to play in the quarter.
Yeah, I really, again, we felt it coming in. You could feel the environment of the gym as we walked up the stairs, and to play in this environment for the first time in a while, that Snider's, it might take a while. Crown Point's been here, though. 3rd year in a row, they've been at this level, and they're used to playing in front of a loud crowd on a different gym, but just Snider's just got to work out the kinks here and get things going in the right direction.
Be sure to stay connected with all things Region Sports, as we are always active on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, X, and at our website at regionsports.com. Celebrating over 25 years, we are proud to still be the only game in town. So the Bulldogs, many of the seniors like Darrell and Shaw have been a part of those semi-state trips, so they've played in these deep tournament runs before, as Darrell knocks down his free throw, so completes the three-point play, makes it a 13-5 lead.
And now Crown Point's going to switch up their defense. They got a little 1-2-1-1 look here.
Trying to break the press. The Panthers work it to the left side. Wilson now surveys the floor, tries to bring it through traffic.
Yeah, it's kind of a run and jump. You saw Kingston or Rhodes thinking about running and jumping there.
At the point, it's Fertile. Left side, gets it to Woods. And then as Woods tries to swing it from left to right, he is fouled.
Got his hands caught in the cookie jar. You got to work under the ball. Anytime you come in over the top, you're getting body. You got to work under the ball, and you can still be disruptive.
So the foul goes to Wilson for Crown Point, his first. The sophomore checks in off the bench. Now he tries to break up the pass, jabs it forward, but it goes out of play at the scorer's table. So Snider will still have possession.
Yeah, they disrupt everything. They make things difficult all the time. And, again, that's why their defense is what it is.
So on the inbound, the Panthers work it to Wilson. He's been averaging over 15 points per game. Skips it forward to Woods. Woods pulls up just inside the line. His first attempt is no good, but the putback from Patterson finds its way home. He brings the Panthers within 6.
Got to block out. You got to get a body on somebody.
Darrell has it on the right wing. Up top to Peters. Peters steps inside the arc now, drifts backwards, gets it to Wilson. His stop and pop three-pointer takes a high carom off the back iron. Darrell to Wilson, and Wilson drops it in.
Nice cut after the miss. He didn't pout or sulk. He stayed in the play and cut. We saw Darrell had the ball on the rebound.
15-7, Crown Point leads with 3.5 minutes remaining in the quarter. Patterson, quick handoff to Wilson. Wilson being guarded by Peters. Pulls up for a deep three-pointer. It redirects off the front iron into the hands of Darrell, and the Bulldogs take it on the move. Darrell weaving his way through the lane, tosses it up with the left hand. It rolls off the rim, but there's a foul, and Darrell will head to the line to shoot 2.
Yeah, coach is going to bring Wilson over and say, hey, we got to move the basketball. You can't let the ball get stuck. When the ball gets stuck with one person, guys eventually stop cutting. So it's easy to guard when guys are standing around, but the Bulldogs are cut and moving without the basketball right now.
Darrell, a 59% free throw shooter, misses on his first look, as now Caden Rhodes enters for Crown Point.
I just love how Darrell's not afraid to get in the lane and sacrifice his body a little bit. Snider's already got 4 team fouls, Leo.
And so they'll bring Chance DeRosa onto the floor to try to help out defensively. DeRosa, the 6'5" sophomore, as Darrell splits the free throws, makes the second, extends the lead to a 16-7 advantage. Crown Point leading by 9. Hogue has it on the right side, being pressured by Shaw. Hogue, step back three-point attempt, goes right down the middle. So Hogue brings the Panthers within 6.
Yeah, sometimes you tip your cap and say the guy made a good shot. Shaw's hand was right in his face.
Darrell on the left side throws it down low to Peters, who banks it in for 2.
Nice little back cut there from Shaw. Nice back screen, on the top of the key.
Wilson surges down the floor towards the left side, gets it in the corner. Fertile's three-pointer goes good. Back-to-back three-pointers for the Panthers, and now they're within 5. 18-13, Crown Point leads. Wilson. Peters works it right side. Shaw just in front of the Panthers bench. Fakes the three-pointer, drives through the lane, tosses it up, but it rolls away. No good. DeRosa tries to feed it to a teammate, but it redirects out of bounds off of Hogue, and it'll be a Bulldogs basketball.
Yeah, Shaw's got to dunk that, man. Tear the rim down, right?
He went airborne, and then it just didn't quite fall the way he wanted it to. Peters into Shaw. Shaw just gives it right back to Peters. Peters drifts towards the front court. Wilson swings it left side to Rhodes.
They're going a 4-out with Shaw posted up inside, but he's got muscle on him. Now they did switch, you see on top.
Shaw handles, driving through the lane, off balance, sends it off the back iron. Corralled by Fertile, the Panthers take over. Now it's Xavier Wilson driving his way into the paint, and he's fouled as he was working his way forward.
Crown Point's usually pretty good at keeping the ball in front of them. You're doing if you're getting by one of the defenders, and they play really good help side, but If you're getting by somebody, you're doing good things.
Peters gets tagged for the foul. The Panthers will inbound it from the baseline. It'll be Trell Hogue. Hogue averaging 11 points per game. Had a couple of big baskets down the stretch in the win over Carmel last week. And now it's Wilson with his topside three-pointer off the rim. No good. Rebounded by KG. And the Bulldogs take over. Here's Bryce Peters crossing over at the point. Angles to his right. Tosses it backward to KG. Left side Wilson. Wilson just a short pass to Shaw. And Shaw locates Caden Rhodes in the left front court. Back to Shaw. Shaw protecting with the left hand, dribbling with the right. Twists, turns, shoots, and scores.
Yeah, you let him turn over that shoulder. He's hard to beat. If you're Snider, you got to make him turn over his right shoulder and make him go baseline.
Shaw has 4 points as Crown Point leads 20-13 with 1 minute, 13 seconds left to play in the first quarter. Fertile trying to work his way through a crowd of red jerseys in the low post. Has the ball knocked away by Shaw, and it rolls to the bleachers as the Bulldogs bring Kingston Rhodes and Molaski back onto the floor.
They've already played 9 guys, Leo.
Right.
I mean, they're going to the bench. That's going to pay off down the road.
A deep Crown Point group with a lot of contributors early. As Woods has it in the paint a few feet away from the basket, he banks it in.
Yeah, you could tell the assistant coaches knew that was coming. That was you could tell they had the scouting report. They knew that one was coming. They were over there yelling and screaming.
54 seconds left to play in the quarter as Wilson brings it forward and then goes tumbling to the floor, but not before he's whistled for traveling.
He's got to be under control. He did a good job of touching the paint, but he just kind of wasn't sure what he was doing with it when he got there.
So the Panthers will have a chance to work it down with the baseline inbound. Fertile feeds it to Wilson, and Wilson trying to break the press, has Rhodes a step in front of him. Wilson at midcourt, angles to the left. His left-handed dribble's poked away, but it ends up in the hands of Woods, and they'll reload at the top. Woods has it in the corner, along the baseline, to Fertile. Kicks it up top. The three-point attempt from Hogue is good. Hogue brings the Panthers within 2 with 25 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Crown Point leads 20-18 as Kingston Rhodes surveys the offensive zone. 15 seconds and counting remaining.
See somebody getting a high ball screen. Here it comes.
Rhodes looking, and then there's a foul away from the ball. Darrell is wrapped up and brought down to the floor, so there will be a foul on the Panthers.
I think that was a combination of a little bit of physicality and Darrell being a very good actor.
And he's a veteran player, knows what to do in these situations. With 5 seconds left in the quarter, Darrell heads to the line.
Yeah, he's a crafty kid.
His first free throw goes off the front iron, and just in front of the Snider student section. They let him hear about that one. He's already been a frequent visitor to the stripe. His second free throw falls down the middle, extends the lead, 21-18. Crown Point ahead as the quarter's wrapping up. 4 seconds to go. Wilson lofts it in the air to Woods. No good. Rebounded by Rhodes. And that's how the first quarter will end. Crown Point leads over Snider, 21-18. We will step aside. When we come back, we will have the second quarter. You're following Game Day on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
Earn while you learn from the best hands in the business. The Bricklayers Allied Craftworkers for Indiana, Kentucky Apprenticeship. That's right, this is a paid apprenticeship.
I'm getting an education while learning a trade and getting paid for it.
The thing that surprised me the most about this apprenticeship program is the respect I've received after the proper time and training.
Classes start soon, so apply now. There are training centers throughout Indiana and Kentucky. We are the Bricklayers and Allied Craftworkers for Indiana, Kentucky Apprenticeship. The best hands in the business.
At American Testing Services, based in Hobart, Indiana, we specialize in NDT drone inspections and heat treatment services for local mills, fab shops, and facilities across the country. From Northwest Indiana to nationwide, we deliver precision, safety, and reliability. American Testing Services, America's trusted name in NDT.
Mayor Pete Land and the Crown Point Pace Department are proud to support Crown Point Athletics and say Go Bulldogs. Crown Point remains dedicated to preserving history, celebrating everyday life, providing the best in city services, and encouraging smart growth. Registration is now open for the spring, summer Crown Point athletic programs. For a complete list of adult and youth activities, visit crownpoint.info/league apps. As we're at a historic Northside Gym as we get ready to start the second quarter. Crown Point leads 21-18. Doug, what stood out to you from the first 8 minutes?
To me, it felt like really that Crown Point should have a bigger lead than they do. But that's the three-point line. I think Snider's got 3 or 4 threes made, and that's just a great equalizer.
Some timely three-point looks as we take a look in the second quarter. East Chicago trailing 28-9 against Columbia City, courtesy of the Strachan Van Til hometown scoreboard. Strachan Van Til, your favorite Indiana-made grocery store, as the Panthers were trying to set up in the offensive zone, but Chance DeRosett had his heel out of bounds as he handled the pass. And so it's a timely turnover for the Bulldogs as they'll take over with 7:38 to play in the second quarter, leading by 3, and they'll get their first look in the offensive zone here.
Yeah, they came out with a 2-3 look, but they changed it up quick, back to man.
Rhodes pulls up for a quick three-pointer, but it spirals out, rebounded by Fertile, and the Panthers take over. Wilson powers forward, works things at the left wing. Up top, connects with Hogue. Hogue at the logo. Fakes left, goes right, hand off to Fertile. Fertile being shadowed by Darrell. Swings it right side to Hogue. Hogue fakes the three-pointer, drives forward through the post, heaves it up, but it rolls away. Shaw handles the rebound. Shaw in
nice
the paint.
Crossover, go up.
Faces 2 Panther players, tries to thread the needle to Mulaski, but it rolls away into the Snider bench.
Yeah, he made a really good spin move, little half cross. He's got to go finish that. Maybe he's a little off balance.
So the Panthers take over. Crown Point leads 21-18. Here's Wilson. Wilson works it to his counterpart on the left side. It's Fertile with the handoff and a deep three-point attempt by Hogue. Falls a little bit short off the front iron into the hands of Peters. And now the Bulldogs are on the move. Rhodes up top to Darrell. His quick catch and release three-pointer, no good. Rebounded by Rhodes. The Bulldogs being persistent as Rhodes drives his way forward and scoops it up for 2.
He is such an asset for Crown Point basketball. My God, he just keeps everything alive. He's physical on this end. He's everywhere, man.
Kingston Rhodes, the senior, averaging just over 11 points. Tried to break up that pass, had 2 Snider players wrapped around him. And we'll have a foul called. Foul will be called against Hogue. Just that disruptive presence that Rhodes brings in the front court.
He is so good. He's 11 points a game, but he's more disruptive on the other end. He's everywhere. He's just so physical too. He plays through guys, gets to the paint, makes really good decisions with the basketball.
Has 28 steals on the season entering this game, 33 assists. He just contributes in a variety of ways. Shaw to Mulaski, fakes the handoff. Working things at the point, gets it to Peters, just inside the arc, swings it left side, Rhodes, into the corner, Shaw has it. Shaw working his way to the paint, hooks it towards Mulaski in the left corner, but it was off the mark just ahead of him, and it skips out of bounds, so the Panthers will take over.
Yeah, you can't be sloppy with the ball. It was a good decision. It was just kind of a one-handed hook pass. It was a little sloppy.
5:52 left to play in the second quarter. Crown Point leads 23-18 as Wilson soars from the left side, but it rolls off the back iron. Shaw gets the rebound. Shaw crisscrossing his way through the paint. Drops it in for 2. Nicely done.
That's why he's an Indiana All-Star. He's so he can score in many ways and score in the paint from the perimeter as well.
Then Wilson has his attempt broken up by the Bulldogs. There was a foul as they were trying to swat it away. I believe it was Mulaski tagged for that one.
Well, there's been a couple plays where Mulaski's got beat on the perimeter. He kind of stands up a little bit. They give him a little head fake, and he kind of stands up, and Snider's been taking advantage of it so far.
It sends Xavier Wilson to the line to shoot 2. Wilson misses the first free throw. We saw him with a couple of those timely three-pointers in the first quarter. Helping run this Snider offense. His second free throw is good. He's up to 6 points, brings the Panthers within 6.
They're a little 2-3 zone look now, Leo.
Rhodes works it right side to Darrell. Darrell plays catch, sends it to Rhodes. Down low to Peters, back up top to Rhodes. In the corner, Darrell pulls up for 3, and it's good.
That's your one-man zone buster.
Mason Darrell's right side three-pointer makes it a 9-point lead for the Bulldogs. They're ahead 28-19 as Snider takes a timeout with 5 minutes, 11 seconds remaining in the second quarter. We will step aside. You're listening to Game Day on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
Have you heard? Stratton-Manteau was voted Best of the Region 2025 in several categories, including Best Caterer, Deli, Flower Shop, Food and Grocery Delivery, Fried Chicken, Place to Buy Produce, Place to Buy Seafood, Loyalty Program, and Grocery Store. We're proud to be recognized by our community, and we're committed to continuing to deliver the variety, value, and convenience you deserve. See for yourself what it means to be the best when you shop at Stratton-Manteau.
At the conclusion of tonight's game, we'll name the Crowell Companies Lantern Man Superhero of the Game. Crowell Companies, proud to recognize the superheroes on the basketball court. So Snider trying to work their way a little bit closer before the half, as with 5 minutes remaining in the second quarter, you don't want to allow Crown Point to get on a run here and further distance themselves.
Well, that's what I said. I think early on I felt like Crown Point had a bigger lead at the end of one, but like that three-point line, but Snider's kind of cooled off here so far.
Brought forward by Pascal. He curls back, waits for his teammates to catch up to him. Sends it to Woods on the left side, just in front of Crown Point's bench. Woods works the high right-handed dribble. Sends it right side to Rosit. He serves up a high three-pointer. It spins out. Mulaski tries to reel it in with the left hand, but Woods gets it, advances it forward, and it goes out of bounds. Possession will stay with Snider. There's a lot of activity in the paint with the basketball changing hands a couple times. It will ultimately be a Snider possession. They will inbound it just underneath the basket. Wilson looking for a partner. Sends it high in the air, brought down by Hogue. Hogue skips it forward to Pascal. Pascal a step inside the arc, sends it short off the front iron into the hands of Mulaski, and Crown Point takes over.
Yeah, there's a couple guys I mentioned. I know we're audio only, but Snider guys are pretty big. I hope their football coach has them part of their program as well.
So you see Ketron Pascal, who tried that last attempt, standing at 6'6", takes the handoff. Peters does. Ooh. Fires it forward. It was under the basket. The ball ricochets away, and Snider will have the inbound.
That was one other thing. Pascal there. Crown Point drove and just bounced off of Pascal. He's a big kid.
Here's Wilson on the inbound. Wilson brings it slowly up the floor, has Peters waiting for him, crosses midcourt, gets it to Paschal. He rolls along the perimeter to the right side, bounces it down low, and then Fertile was trying to work his way through Darrell, and the foul is called on Darrell.
See if they look at it. Darrell's got to be careful. We've talked about it. He can kind of get himself in trouble. That might have been a flop. You know, you probably should call the flop warning, but not too many refs like calling that.
So Snider gets the inbound after the foul. Wilson tries a three-pointer from the corner. Ricochets off the front iron. Woods has it. Woods tosses it up. High Karam off the back iron, rebounded by Darrell. He is then knocked out of bounds by the Panthers.
Darrell did a great job of getting up there, didn't he? He's elevated among the trees. Somehow ended up with the ball. That's just kind of kid he is. He's got a nose for the ball.
He was surrounded by Snider players that had the height advantage on him, but was still able to get to that rebound.
He's just a competitor, man. He's one of those guys you love to have on your team and would hate to play against.
Here's Mulaski at the point, hands it over to Shaw. Shaw brings it through the post, tries to lay it in from the right side, but it's broken up. He had Paschal covering him. Wilson down the floor, gets it to Hogue, into the corner to Fertile. Fertile moves along the perimeter, looking for Hogue. Hogue boxed in but breaks through. Hogue serves it up, knocks it in off the glass, good for two. Snider's within 7 here, trailing 28-21.
Yeah, nice play over taller Mulaski. That was a really nice drive there by Hogue.
Peters tries to bring it forward, but it spins away. There's a foul as Peters was separated. The foul handed out to Hogue. Correction, the foul goes to Fertile. Mulaski fakes the handoff, brings it forward, rolls it in with the left hand.
Nice play.
So Mulaski with the fake increases his point total to 5. And here are the Panthers in the offensive end. Wilson running things at the point, spins his way into the paint, lofts it up and over, good for 2.
I said it earlier, I think they're on this end, they're kind of going one-on-one on Mulaski a little bit, putting him on skates. He's not really good on the perimeter.
Darrell has it at the left wing, goes to Shaw. Shaw trying to break through, being pressured by Wilson. Right side, it's Peters. Flips it across the floor to Shaw, who's open at the left wing. Takes it forward, and then as he was stepping his way forward, draws the foul.
I love the decision to give the head fake and get the paint touch. Earlier in the season we saw him, he might have just shot the three. But I think that's a great decision by Dikembe there to get to the lane.
Now the Panthers with 4 fouls here in the second quarter with 2:37 remaining before the halftime break. Peters looking for a partner wearing red.
Oh, nice
Gets
lead.
It to Shaw, open in the paint. Shaw tries to lift it over Woods, but it was short, and then the next attempt, though, finds its way home from Shaw.
Nice double screen, slip on that screen there by Shaw. He's got to finish the first one.
Shaw increases the lead, 32-23, Crown Point ahead. 2:20 left to play in the second quarter as Vertil takes it around the horn, looks up top for Wilson. Wilson trying to drive his way past Peters, but drifts backwards towards the logo.
Look at that on-ball defense, Leo. He's working.
Wilson with a left-handed dribble drive. Sends it left corner Vertil. His high arcing three-pointer. No good. Rebounded by Rhodes. And the Bulldogs take over. Just under 2 minutes left to play. Crown Point leading by 9. Darrell swings it right side. Peters settles things down. Gets it to Shaw. He serves up a high three-pointer off the back iron. The rebound secured by Hogue. And here come the Panthers. Woods with the crossover. Pulls up from the line. And it's good. Right down the middle. Jordan Woods breaks up a bit of a scoreless drought that the Panthers were in the midst of.
Yeah, that's why I just don't like Shaw shooting the three. I mean, when you take him out, you're also taking out your best rebounder. And then you got transition going the other way.
Molaski fakes the pass left, then looks right side for Darrell. Darrell brings it through a crowd and then goes down to the floor. There's a foul. We've seen Darrell's just so good at being able to drive into those areas where he's outnumbered. And even if he doesn't make the basket, he at least is able to draw the foul.
He's doing a really good job of controlling himself. If I would have got fouled and slid into the Fort Wayne Snider student section and they're in my face, that would be a problem. You know what I'm saying?
Have some
those Snider fans down there are pretty brave.
Right. As Darrell's first free throw rolls around and falls through. And this is already Darrell's 4th trip to the free throw line.
Yeah.
With 1:17 left to go in the second quarter.
Again, he's done a really good job of not settling also. He's really, the last 3 or 4 games we've seen him play, he's doing a great job of getting the ball in the paint.
Darrell converts the first free throw. He's up to 14 points. His second goes off the front iron, rebounded by Vertil, and the Panthers take over. Trailing 33-25 with 1:10 left to play in the second quarter. We'll see how they choose to play things here before the half. Left side, the Panthers have it. They were looking for Woods up top, but it's broken up by the Bulldogs. Here's Wilson driving his way through the paint, and then he gets brought down to the floor.
Yeah, that's a block. He was out of the defense was out of control. That was a great drive. Another steal. They've held Snider to 7 points this quarter.
And we just saw it on that last offensive stand. As Snider was trying to work things in the front court, there were red jerseys everywhere, and that's how they were able to work that turnover.
They're doing a really good job of controlling gaps, you know.
So Michael Wilson, the sophomore, up to the line to shoot the first of 2. His first one is off the mark.
You don't get the free throws back, Leo.
No.
You got to knock these down. You're not going to make them all, but you want to make them now.
As Wilson's second free throw spins out, and that was part of in that last week's regional championship between East Chicago and Mishawaka Marion. It was the free throws that kept Marion in that game down the stretch. So that could just be so crucial, especially in the first half.
Yeah, this stretch here is really important for Crown Point. You know, you have to understand to control the clock and the score and possession.
Patterson takes it and then goes up in the air in the paint, slamming it down for 2.
Yeah.
In transition.
This is not going Crown Point's way, but I'll talk about it in a minute. Go.
The Panthers trail by 6 as they have possession at the logo. 32 seconds left to go before the halftime break. Here's Wilson. Right side, gets it. Gets it to Reddick. Reddick scanning the floor. The senior looks for a partner, finds Woods on the right side. Woods taking it through the paint, sends a Crown Point defender toppling over, and the foul is charged to Lux. So now the Panthers going on a bit of a run before the break.
And this is what I'm saying. They had the ball, Crown Point had the ball with a minute left, 8-point lead, and the ball coming out next quarter. So you could have controlled the ball, controlled the clock. Now it kind of momentum has shifted towards Snider a little bit when it didn't have to. You could have had the ball the entire time.
Jordan Woods, the 6'6" senior, nails his first free throw, brings his team within 5. Woods averaging about 8 points per game. He has 5 here in the late stages of the second quarter.
And I think this is what Snider's done. They just kind of hanging around. They kind of hang around and then take advantage of it at the end.
Woods goes 2 of 2 from the line. Now it's a 4-point game with 15 seconds remaining before halftime. Peters brings it down the floor, slows up at the logo. 33-29, Crown Point leads. Bryce Peters pulls up for 3, and he knocks it down. Peters hits the three-pointer at the very end of the second quarter to help pad the lead a little bit for Crown Point. They're ahead 36-29 as we get ready for the halftime break. The Bulldogs making a big three-pointer at the end. So we will step aside. We will take a look at the first half, some of the stats, preview the second half as we get ready to set the table for the third quarter. You're following Game Day on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
It's time for the Commissioner's Corner, an exclusive weekly conversation about Indiana high school sports with the Commissioner of the IHSAA, Paul Neidig. Now for an up-to-the-minute report about what's happening in the constantly changing world of high school sports, here's Commissioner Paul Neidig.
Welcome, everyone, into this week's Commissioner's Corner, our weekly conversation with the Commissioner of the IHSAA, Paul Neidig. I'm Brendan King. Paul, that time of year, semi-state for boys basketball coming up this weekend, and then a couple weeks from now, we're going to crown some state champions over at Cambridge Fieldhouse. Before we go into the matchups, great time of year, man. How are you?
No, I'm doing great, Brendan. You're right, man. It's just such a great time of year. I mean, we've marched all the way through winter here and celebrated multiple state championships and have been all gone off really well. We just finished last weekend at Worthington Arena in Muncie, our girls gymnastics state championship, and it was decided by 1/10 of a point for the champion. And so Homestead won that. And so it was a great weekend. But yeah, we're ready to really focus in on boys basketball and finish with 2 strong weeks coming up.
IHSAA.org for everything you need to know, matchups, tickets, schedules, everything. So let's go over it starting in Class A. Here are your matchups. In Class A, from Washington, the 10 a.m. game, Bar Reeve takes on Liberty Christian. At noon, it's Bloomfield against Hauser. From Lafayette, Jeff, in Class A as well, 10 a.m. start, Monroe Central, North Vermilion. Noon tip, Tri-County and Triton. In 2A, Southport at Southport Fieldhouse, 10 a.m. start. Park Heritage battles Triton Central. At noon, it's Linton Stockton against Austin. Staying in Class 2A from Muncie Central, 10 a.m. game, Fort Wayne Bishop Lures against Oak Hill. And at noon, it's Westview and Lapel. In Class 3A from Logansport at the Berry Bowl, 10 a.m. tip, New Haven will go against Delta. And at noon, it's Columbia City and East Chicago Central. From Seymour, Roncalli matches up with Silver Creek at 10 a.m. And at noon, it's Indianapolis Cathedral against Princeton Community. Finishing up in Class 4A, Elkhart at 10 a.m., it's Northridge versus Homestead. At noon, it's Crown Point against Fort Wayne Snider. Lastly, from Newcastle, what a venue, 10 a.m. start, Mount Vernon Fordville and Decatur Central. At noon, it's New Albany versus Terre Haute North Vigo. All right, Paul, there's the tale of the tape. It's going to be a great weekend.
It is, and certainly that was a great rundown by our very own Brendan King here as he gets ready for these state tournaments coming up. But, it's exciting. We played 8 venues around the state. And if you can get out and watch one of these, it's their old traditional format where we play 2 games in the morning and we finish up with the championship in the evening. But if you can't get out, you can also watch it on IHSAA TV this weekend. And you can do it for the price of a ticket. So you don't have the expense to get to an event, but you can also watch it online. Or if you want to spend $20, you can get every game played this weekend and watch them all and just have a basketball weekend. And so we're excited.
It's been a few years now, of course, the 2 games in one day at semi-state. What have you seen as the response to that? Because the intensity and the competition, especially the last couple of years, has been spectacular.
Yeah, I think it's done what we wanted to. We wanted to kind of build momentum throughout the tournament. In that sectional week, oftentimes teams have to play 3 games in a single week to win a state champ or win a sectional championship. You move on to regional week, you just got to prepare for one. And then to be able to play in the biggest game we have, which is that state championship game, you're going to have to win 2. And so we've seen a lot of enthusiasm that we are carrying double the number of teams a week longer. And we also have 4 more communities hosting events, and people are eating in their restaurants and buying gas there and enjoying the amenities of the cities that are hosting these tournaments for us.
We'll talk about more state championships next week, but the preparation, Gamebridge Fieldhouse is a busy place, hosting D2, D3, NIT championships. Punch in the IHSAA with them as well.
Yeah, it's certainly a basketball state with basketball championships to be won, and we're excited about just to be a small part of that.
It's a great time of year. That's Paul Neidig. I'm Brendan King. Paul, just anything that anybody needs to know, IHSAA.org for tickets and matchups, right?
That's right. Tickets, matchups, links to watch the games online. They're all right there.
This is the Commissioner's Corner. When we come back next week, we'll have all your state championship matchups, storylines, schedules. Can't wait. Paul, appreciate the time.
Thank you, Brendan.
Thanks for listening to The Commissioner's Corner with IHSAA Commissioner Paul Neidig, and thank you for your continued support of the high schools in your community.
Mayor Pete Land and the Crown Point Pace Department are proud to support Crown Point Athletics and Sago Bulldogs. Crown Point remains dedicated to preserving history, celebrating everyday life, providing the best in city services, and encouraging smart growth. Registration is now open for the Spring-Summer 2026 Crown Point Athletic Programs. For a complete list of adult and youth activities, visit crownpoint.info/league apps. As we're at the half, it's Crown Point leading 39-26. Leo Staudaher and Doug Nelson with you. And Doug, when you take a look at the first half, you kind of had that recurring theme that this feels like a game that the Bulldogs could have pulled away from a couple times, but it was the three-point shooting from Snider that was able to keep things close.
Yeah, Snider's 5 of 11 from the three-point line early on in this first half. But, yeah, I think Crown Point's played really good D. But like I said earlier, sometimes you just tip your cap and, they're making shots in your face. But you just got to, take care of business on the other end if they're gonna keep up with you.
And taking a look at who's been leading the way for Crown Point, it's been 2 of their top seniors, Mason Darrell 14 points and Dikembe Shaw with 8, helping pace things for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, I think, like I said, Darrell's playing really well, making good decisions with the ball, getting to the free throw line, making good things happen, but you got to convert at the line, when it's all said and done.
Yeah, that's something the Bulldogs, 4 of 9 from the stripe, so those little points there could come back to hurt them. We think of a couple of points late in the quarter where they went 0 for 2, and those add up after a while.
They do, and I was watching games yesterday, and they were talking about that. Those little right before the end of the quarter, that 2-minute stretch, and then, like I said, then they get the ball in the second half. So it could have been a lot different, at least. But luckily Peters made the 3 at the end to kind of avert the problems that they were having there in that last minute. But yeah, again, it's those little things that when you get to this point in the season, it's the details like that are going to make or break you.
I mean, certainly those points in the second quarter are still worth as much as the points in the fourth quarter. These free throws still count for the same amount, as that late three-pointer by Peters could be something that really boosts the Bulldogs. What are you looking for from each team in the third quarter?
Again, I think Snider's got to make an effort to get the ball inside. I know they shoot a lot of threes, but they got I keep going back to the muscle. They have an advantage in there, and they've also been, like we said, they've been kind of picking on Mulaski a little bit on the perimeter. So they got to just keep doing what they're doing, but it all comes down to being able to get stops. And you got Crown Point, who's right at their average. They average about 73 a game, and that's where they're at. So that they got to get stops and scores. They get a long way to go here. It's going to be a fun 18 minutes. That's math. It's Saturday, sorry.
There we go.
There you go.
As at the conclusion of tonight's game, we'll name the Boilermakers Local 374 Blue Collar Player of the Game, brought to you by Boilermakers Local 374. Earn while you learn with Boilermakers Local 374. We'll step aside. When we come back, we will have the third quarter between the Bulldogs and the Panthers. So stick around. You're following Game Day on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
Mortorano's Roofing is a family-owned business established in 1986, celebrating over 40 years. We have completed over 5,600 roof replacements, repairs, and chimney projects, focused in Northwest Indiana and Southwest Michigan. Mortorano's Roofing has always put family, friends, and customers first in our mission to complete roofing projects with the greatest care and consideration as if it was our own. Give them a call today for a free estimate at 219-872-8246. Mortorano's Roofing. Protect your past, present, and future roofs for you and your loved ones and your legacy. On-Site Generator Solutions is a locally owned and operated power partner for Northwest Indiana homes. With over 14 years of experience, they handle tasks such as generators, residential electric, plumbing, automotive care, and more. You can find them on Facebook. Give them a call at 219-516-6800 or search them up on the web at onsitegeneratorsolutions.com. On-Site Generator Solutions. Power you can count on every time, everywhere.
We're back at historic Northside Gym in Elkhart, Indiana, as we are in one of the top 10 largest high school gyms in the country, and it's a great atmosphere for the semi-state semifinals. We take a look at some other scores and our other game going on Region Sports Network. Columbia City leads East Chicago Central 45-18, and that's brought to you by our Strachan Van Til hometown scoreboard, your favorite Indiana-made grocery store. Our crew today, Leo Staudaher and Doug Nelson with you on the call. Zach Miller doing a great job keeping us on the air as our producer. Thomas Marsh handling some of the multimedia aspects, and our management team, Chris Ramirez, Rich Castillo, and Mike Dewan. As the third quarter is underway, Crown Point in their red uniforms having Dikembe Shaw spin his way through the paint, draws the foul just underneath the baskets.
I like the nice strong move. He was strong with the ball. Defenders were hanging all over him, and I was kind of waiting for the official to call it just like Dikembe was. But, yeah, nice strong move there.
So Shaw, who had 8 points in the first half, sends the first free throw off the back iron. So again, Crown Point trying to increase their totals at the line.
Yeah, they're 4 for 10 from the line right now. You know, that's not going to win you many ball games. Like we said, you don't get them back.
Shaw, though, able to break through on the second free throw. Makes it a 37-29 lead early in the third quarter, as Snider, wearing their white uniforms with gold numbers, gold stripes down the sides, has Wilson spinning his way forward. He heaves up a attempt from just inside the stripe, knocks it down, brings the Panthers back within 6.
Yeah, they're just hanging around. I know I say it, but you got to find a way to get that knockout blow.
Darrell tries to thread the needle for Peters, who was taking flight, but it was just out of reach of his left hand, and it goes out of bounds in the corner.
Yeah, and you're not going to do that by turning it over. You just let them hang around. You get those empty possessions hurt.
So Braylon Fertile sends the inbound to his teammate, Ketron Paschal. Paschal averaging 9 points per game, 6 rebounds. Junior connects with Wilson at the right side. Wilson hands it over to Peterson, who brings it around the horn. Left side, Fertile. Fertile back to Paschal. They send things into the corner. They were looking for DeRosa, but the pass goes behind him, and it rolls all the way out of bounds past the back court. So the Panthers trying to speed things up, but the pass goes through a couple of different players.
It's hard to remember. We're dealing with teenage kids, but it's just these lulls. You know, you got to play through these lulls here if you're both teams, because that's where the other team. There you go.
Peters' pass intercepted by Paschal. He was looking for Shaw, but Paschal breaks things up, and now the Panthers take over. Wilson cutting to his left, works things at the wing to DeRosa. His corner three. It's good.
Yeah, you got to stay sharp for 32 minutes, Leo, and right now they're letting them hang around and getting a little sloppy. They got to wake up here.
After the three-point deposit by DeRosa, Snider trailing by just 3. Mulaski pulls up for a topside three-pointer, and he sends it right down the middle. So Cooper Mulaski gets those 3 points right back.
He's been really efficient today, right? Yeah. He's had like four shots and 2 big threes.
Yeah, 2 three-pointers from Mulaski, who has 8 points. Wilson takes over, brings it at the point. At the left corner, Paschal angling forward, guarded by Shaw.
Oh, wow.
Heaves it forward, but it was short. There's a foul called, though.
Interesting call. Right? I mean,
so they had to get Shaw for that one.
Yeah, 2 big bodies just bumping into each other.
It brings Paschal to the line. Especially the way when you kind of get used to the physical play in the first half, get an idea of what can be called, what won't be. When the things kind of deviate from that a little bit in the second half, that could be difficult.
Well,
sometimes.
Leo, what I also don't understand is they banged into each other like 3 times.
Yeah.
Why didn't you call either of the first 2?
Right.
You know what I mean? You go, the third one's a foul. I don't know. I just don't understand that one.
And so for Shaw, that was his first foul. Paschal knocks down one of the free throws, but leaves the second one away. And then Shaw, right down the court, knocks down a 3-pointer.
Big-time play there. Big-time shot. This is going to be a fun second half.
43-35. Crown Point leads. 5:44 to play in the third quarter as DeRosa handles. Gets it up top to Wilson. Wilson loses his dribble, scoops it up off the floor, and they'll look to recover. Wilson feeds it forward for Paschal. He loses control. Rhodes takes it away, and then as Rhodes was weaving his way down the floor, he collides with a Snider player who's down on the midcourt logo. It's Wilson getting back up on his feet.
Yeah.
And Wilson is called for the foul.
Yeah, Crown Point's got to rely on that half-court D. As we said, they're giving up about 50 points a game. They have to lay it. That's what they have to be. That's got to carry them here when their shooting's a little soft right now.
Rhodes gets it to Peters, back to Shaw. Molaski faking the handoff. He's running things at the point. Gets it over to Peters. Peters fakes right, goes left. Now he brings it through the post, but it's poked away by Wilson, ending up in the hands of Molaski, who's just able to drop it in for 2.
Molaski's just that guy, man. He's always around the ball, and he makes good decisions
and
with
that
the ball.
last sequence, right place at the right time.
Yeah, and he finished.
As Wilson tries a right side 3-pointer. Darrell battles for the rebound, and then a whistle cuts the air, and the foul will be on Mason Darrell.
Yeah. It was kind of a hook and hold. He was kind of holding him down.
As we see Darrell playing just beneath his team's basket, tagged for the foul.
Yeah.
His first.
That's what we talked about. He's crafty.
In the corner, it's Wilson. Wilson looking for a partner up top. It's DeRosa. His 3-pointer rattles around and falls through.
That got every bit of the rim.
And now Rhodes wastes no time moving down the floor. Serves it up and banks it in for a 2-point deposit.
Kingston Rhodes is such a player, man. Mm-hmm. He does that a few times a game.
Yeah.
Where he goes through people. You know what I mean?
As Darrell now off the pass from Molaski. Darrell's left-handed layup is good. Molaski gets the swipe, and then Darrell finishes off the play with the layup, and the Panthers will take a timeout with 4:25 remaining in the third quarter. You're listening to Game Day on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
When it comes to your money, you deserve more than just numbers on a page. You deserve someone who sees the full picture. Meet Mark Machnick, one of Northwest Indiana's most trusted accounting professionals. Whether you're running a business, planning for retirement, or just trying to make sense of tax season, Mark Machnick, located in Highland, makes it simple, personal, and believe it or not, painless. Contact Mark and his team today at 219-595-5290. Mark Machnick, CPA.
Some see a volleyball match. We see a student athlete learning how to be poised under pressure. Some see a high school football stadium. We see the one place where the whole community comes together. Proud to keep education in front of athletics since 1903.
Stay with us after the game and we'll name the proud-to-be Union play of the game presented by Ironworkers Local 395. Go to ironworkers395.com to start your future as a Union Ironworker. 4:22 left to play in the third quarter. Crown Point leads 49-38 over Snider in this semi-state semifinal. Wilson trying to spin his way through the paint, working around Peters, is able to bank it in for 2.
Yeah, you got to try to push him to his right hand, Leo. He's very left-handed. You got to try to, and he tried, and they did a good job with him.
Darrell off the quick pass, fills it up for 3 points, and draws the foul.
He called a flop warning on Darrell.
So Darrell just in front of his team's bench, quickly gets the pass from Peters, drops in the 3-pointer. So there's no foul. No foul. Darrell and company will just take the 3-pointer.
First one's a warning, right? Second one's a player tech. Is that correct, Zach?
So for Darrell, that helps his team take a 52-40 lead. The three-pointer attempt by DeRosit, Darrell got a piece of it as then it goes off the side of the backboard and out of play just in front of the Snider student section. Bulldogs leading 52-40 with just under 4 minutes to play in the third quarter.
That's what we've talked about. Crown Point's got to extend the lead here. They've had a double-digit lead a couple times, and Snider's found a way to fight back.
Woods works it to the Rosit, back up top to Wilson. Wilson shadowed by Darrell, and a foul called on the Bulldogs. We'll get Darrell for his play against Wilson.
He's got to be composed. Mason's playing a really, really good basketball game. He's got to keep his cool here and play through this.
And with 19 points, he picks up his second foul. The inbound goes to Wilson, almost all the way to his team's basket. So now with a lot of room, takes it forward over midcourt.
You got to push him right. See how he's going to his left there, Leo? Got to push him the other way.
Plays catch with Patterson in the left corner. Tries a topside three-pointer. It rattles away. Shaw gets the rebound to Mulaski. Now the Bulldogs are on the move. It's Rhodes. Rhodes in the offensive zone, slows up, waits for his friends to meet him there. Now Rhodes angles forward, tries to break through a pair of Panther defenders, and one of them will be tagged with a foul.
Yeah, that's his move. They had a little mismatch. Snider was scrambling a little bit. They're matching up on the transition defense, and Rhodes made a really good decision with the ball.
Paschal and Hogue back on the floor for Snider. 3:19 to play in the third quarter. Crown Point ahead by 12. Peters connects with Rhodes under the basket. Rhodes shakes past one defender and drops it in. Rhodes with 6 points. And then feeding it forward for Paschal. Hogue with the pass. It gets broken up. Shaw and Rhodes were both in the area trying to prevent it, but it will go out of bounds off of Paschal.
Yeah, they switch that ball screen, and that's a really hard catch from the top of the key. You could see Paschal motioning to his passer, feed it to the wing, and then I'm going to post up.
Rhodes handles at the logo for Crown Point, sends it left side to Peters, back to Mulaski, right side Rhodes. Rhodes, his crossover attempt poked away by DeRosit, but Shaw recovers. Shaw settles things down for the Bulldogs. Shaw's left-handed dribble as he moves along the perimeter, gets it to Peters in front of the Bulldog bench.
You got to be patient here. Be patient.
Darrell fakes the logo three, instead opts to take it forward. As he was surging from the left side, draws the foul.
These are those possessions. You got to extend the lead here. You got a chance to extend your lead. Value the ball, understand time, and score.
DeRosit picks up his first foul, and now the inbound goes to Darrell. Darrell was in the air and tried to just send it forward. It was short, and now the three-pointer from Fertile rolls away. It's loose under the basket, ends up in the hands of Shaw, and then Shaw collides with DeRosit.
Yeah, that's a block. Snider coach wanted that called on Shaw.
Shaw was trying to bring it forward as he was trying to settle it down with the right hand. DeRosit was in his way, and they both just went tumbling down to the floor.
Yeah, the Snider defense was just the wrong place at the wrong time there. Not much he could do.
As the ball was already kind of going past DeRosit, he really just couldn't get out of the way there, and then DeRosit standing at 6'5", Shaw at 6'7". Both go falling down, and Shaw converts on his first free throw.
Yeah, you gotta make free throws. I know we've said it, but right now, crunch time, extend the lead.
Shaw with 13 points as his team leads by 15. He goes 2 of 2 from the line, so those are 2 big free throws by the senior. 56-40 with 2 minutes, 20 seconds left to go in the third quarter. Here's Hogue looking for Woods. Woods steps back, pulls up from mid-range. High bounce off the iron. Mulaski gets the rebound and feeds it forward to Rhodes. Rhodes with a behind-the-back move. Curls back in the corner to Peters. His deep right side three-pointer. Off the front iron. Shaw tracks down the rebound. Shaw lets it fly just inside the arc, and there's a foul.
I love they're hitting the offensive glass. Playing with more energy right now. Yeah. They look like they're the more energetic team on the court.
You mentioned, they played 9 different players in the first half, so when you were able to rest some of your key players like that, they have that energy here in the late stages of the third quarter.
And they're hoping maybe tonight as well.
Right.
We saw a little bit of that Northridge game this morning, and some of their guys were dragging by the end of the game. And that Brady Scholl, he's a really good player going to Indiana Wesleyan from Northridge, but He was dragging at the end of the game, but he was getting it done, but you could tell he was fatigued.
And that was a close game where Northridge was trailing at the half and then had to work their way back as Shaw goes 2 of 2 from the line. 58-40, Crown Point leads, just under 2 minutes to play in the third quarter. Left side, Hogue. Hogue steps back beyond the arc, pulls up for 3. And it rattles away, no good, rebounded by Shaw.
Right here, slow down, get a good possession, extend the lead.
Shaw sends it to his left to Darrell. Darrell connects with
They're going
Caden
4
Rhodes.
corners, man. They're pulling it out right now. Love it.
Shaw at the top right corner. Fakes the step right, goes left, works things at the point. Now he's on the left side, swings it right side, Caden Rhodes. 1:21 left to play. We saw the Bulldogs do this a lot in the sectional championship against Lake Central with that four-corner look. They find Mulaski just underneath the basket, and Mulaski soars up for the dunk.
Nice job. You just pick him apart. Snider's got to gamble a little bit, down 20 now.
Mulaski with 12 points as the Bulldogs lead by 20, 60-40 late in the third quarter. Here's Woods at the top. Woods, right side, looking for Wilson. And then a foul is called on Caden Rhodes. Or on Wilson, pardon me. It was on Wilson.
Yeah. Wilson's guarding in the post, and he's trying to guard Paschal. Paschal's a guy that I would like to pick on my football fantasy team. He's a strong kid, man, and he was really had the advantage inside, so I don't fault that foul. Peters is fighting in there.
Panthers will inbound it with a 20-point deficit with 51 seconds remaining in the quarter. Wilson trying to find a partner. Locates Hogue at the top of the arc. Hogue bringing it forward, but Shaw jabs it away. Shaw has Mulaski on the left side. Shaw high-stepping through the paint, draws the foul.
He got him.
Paschal was trying to prevent Shaw from scoring there, and he will be called for his his fourth foul.
Yeah, another one I thought he might give up to Mulaski and get it back. You know, a little alley-oop. 3-on-1 it was.
So Mulaski was on the left side, but Shaw kept it, and he heads to the line to shoot 2. The first free throw doesn't go his way. So Shaw prepares for the second. This one rolls around and falls through. So Shaw extends his point total to 17.
Giving some guys some breaks here before the quarter change.
So the Bulldogs bring in reinforcements. Jack Lux and KG are on the floor for the Bulldogs as going forward is Hogue. He serves it up. It spins through as there's a foul called. So he will head to the line with a chance to complete a 3-point play.
Trell Hogue's a nice player. Junior. Strong in the paint.
As Hogue has been averaging 11 points per game. Looking at some of the highlights from their win over Carmel, he made a big layup to give the Panthers a lead late in the fourth quarter, and then they wouldn't stop there. So you certainly think he's one of those players that will be back for next year that can benefit from a deep postseason run.
Kind of reminds me of Kingston Rhodes' game, right? Kind of gets through guys, really strong perimeter player.
He goes 2 for 2 from the line. He's up to 8 points. 61-43, Crown Point leads.
Yeah, Snider's in a half-court trap.
And Hogue wrestles it away. Sends it down the floor for Rhodes, or for Woods, but it's broken up by Rhodes. And now Lux settles it down for the Bulldogs, gets it to Rhodes. He's boxed in by a pair of Panther players, and there will be a timeout called. We'll keep it here with 20 seconds left to play in the third quarter. Crown Point leading 61-43 as Snider's trying to crank up a comeback here, but the Bulldogs trying to stay separated.
Yeah, again, it's the end of the quarter, Leo. It's that stuff. You want the momentum to carry over. You don't want Snider to make a little run here and hang around. You know, again, you saw Coach Swan call the timeout, but Cooper Mulaski was the first one off the bench telling his guys, calm down, relax, it's going to be okay. Don't let him speed you up. Get a good shot here.
So the Bulldogs will try to break the press and getting that opportunity with a big lead to give some of your top players that rest at the end of the quarter. And that could be something that pays off later, not just in this game, but potentially later in the evening. As now more of the usual suspects back on the floor. Kingston Rhodes will work the inbound here. Rhodes sends it to Wilson, back to Rhodes. 17 seconds and counting left to go.
Yeah, Snider's still in that 1-3-1 half-court trap.
Darrell at the point, angles it backward to Rhodes. Rhodes cuts to his left.
Usually find an elbow corner jumper here.
Here's Caden Rhodes. Rhodes just inside the arc. 3 seconds to play. Rhodes trapped by a pair of defenders,
Wow.
and a foul is called.
That was the one thing Snider did not want to do with 1.1 second left.
And the foul goes to Woods, his second foul. So we'll send Caden Rhodes to the line to shoot 2. Rhodes a 78% free throw shooter, so he could try to make the Panthers pay here.
Yeah, Snider really bailed them out.
Rhodes gets ready and will fire his first free throw. That one's good. Makes it a 62-43 lead for the Bulldogs with just over a second left to play in the third quarter. As Rhodes rolls away the second free throw, the long, nearly full-court attempt from Patterson goes wide of the basket, so that's how the third quarter will end. Crown Point leading 62-43. The fourth quarter is coming up next. You're listening to Game Day on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
You ready? Let's go! Yeah. For those of you that want to know what we're all about, it's like this, y'all. This is 10% luck, 20% skill, 15% concentrated power of will, 5% pleasure, 50% pain, 100% reason to remember the name.
Your future starts
here.
At Blyce, we're used to having the athlete shop at our store.
Down, sit, put.
But sometimes they get carried away. Blyce, this is where the athlete shops.
As the fourth quarter starts, Snider begins with the basketball. They trail 62-43. It's Hogue bringing things forward, driving through the paint, but he sends one off the iron, rebounded by Darrell, and the Bulldogs take over.
Yeah, here's the tricky part. Snider's going to stay in that 1-3-1 half-court trap. And if you're Crown Point, you want to keep your foot on the gas. Don't play not to lose here. We've talked about that.
Shaw with a nice pass to Mulaski along the baseline to Darrell for a corner three, and he knocks it down.
Yes, keep attacking, keep scoring, leave no doubt.
Darrell makes it a 65-43 lead as he has 22 points in the outing. Hogue in the right front court, looks in the corner, and the dribble gets away from Fertile, and the Bulldogs trying to slow things down. Darrell to Shaw. Shaw waiting across midcourt. Angles it forward to Rhodes. His left side three-pointer. Bounces away. Shaw gets to the rebound. Gets it to Darrell. He'll try from three. Again, this one rattles around, but nice Shaw's finish. There for the putback. Or it's Rhodes there for the putback as he gets knocked to the floor.
Really nice, smart play. Good attacking play. That's just Rhodes. Yeah. That's what he does. We've talked about it, but, you know, it might be – you can get those threes anytime. You know, out of that 1-3-1, you can get a layup. You'll get a layup out of it. You're shooting the shots they want you to shoot. Right. You know what I'm saying? They want you to shoot the three. But you're up by 24. Just take some time and get a layup out of it.
So Rhodes heads to the line with a chance to complete the three-point play. He'll do just that. Knocks down the free throw, makes it a 68-43 lead for the Bulldogs.
Oh, how good are those guys, man?
7 minutes left to play in the quarter as Rhodes Kingston Rhodes replaced by Caden Rhodes on the floor. And now the Panthers bring it forward. Left side, sending it to Hogue. He'll try a three-pointer. It goes over the basket. And then wrestling on the floor for the rebound is Mulaski. Gets it to Darrell. Darrell racing towards the cup. And it's blocked by Paschal, but then they both collide and go down to the floor. The foul, I believe it'll be on Paschal. If that's the case, it will be his fifth. And that will be Paschal's fifth foul. So he has fouled out of the game with 6:44 left to play. He'll be replaced by Lane Patterson for the Panthers.
Yeah, I'm going to keep my eyes on Paschal. Like you said, they got 16. Each team's got 6 seniors, and they're going to be missing a lot. But Paschal's a guy that looks like he should be on a football field. I know I've said it. My goodness, he looks like a defensive end.
Averaging 9 rebounds, or 9 points and 6 rebounds as Daryl's first free throw goes off the front iron. The second one, same spot. He tries to track down the rebound, but it's loose, and Hogue gets to it. Hogue slows up, waits for his teammates to catch up, gets it to Fertile. Fertile brings it forward. His layup attempt no good, rebounded by Mulaski. Here come the Bulldogs. It's Shaw, skipping it to Darryl in the corner. His three-point attempt off the side, no good. And then as Fertile was battling for the loose basketball with Mulaski, we will have a foul called on Mulaski, his second.
Yeah, Coach Swan's telling the kids, we don't need it. We don't need it. The clock is our friend.
6:18 left to play as the Bulldogs leading here, but it's Wilson bringing it forward, serves it up for 2 from the right side, and then he's having some trouble making his way back to his team's bench, landed awkwardly. With 6:12 remaining, there is a timeout taken. Crown Point leading here 68-45.
That was a really nice move with his right hand. So
yeah,
he's showing it now. He's showing it, showing his all of his game. But yeah, if you're Coach Swan right now, that was a great timeout that Snider called. You're saying thank you, but you're saying, guys, move the ball, swing the ball, reverse side top side against that zone. I wouldn't be surprised to see Snider get out of it. I mean, they might have to go man to man and just deny everything, but because you give up wide open layups if you move the ball from side to side against that 1-3-1.
We'd like to remind everyone that tonight's live stream is powered by Absolute Power Systems in Griffith, providing excellent service for industrial engines, pumps, and generator power systems. For more info, visit AbsolutePowerSystems.com. Absolute Power Systems, powering your business, absolutely.
Yeah, they're going back to the man-to-man.
Here's Caden Rhodes running things at the logo. Rhodes takes it forward through the paint, tries to weave from right to left, but it's off the mark. Rebounded by Wilson, and the Panthers take over. Rhodes swipes it away. 5:50 left to go in the semi-state semifinal for the Bulldogs, leading 68-45.
Yeah, they're going to go 4 corners here. Fans of the shot clock would not enjoy this, but it's the game. It's what we got.
As it's Rhodes, the man in the middle of those corners, sends it to the bottom left corner to Shaw, back to the top left to Peters. Peters back to Rhodes. Rhodes in the middle. Goes bottom right to Mulaski, top right to Darryl. 5:19 left to go as the Bulldogs trying to work some of that time away. And then Shaw goes running into Woods as they were both going for the basketball, and the Panthers take it down the floor.
Yeah, pass interference call there, right?
Hogue up top to Fertile. His three-pointer was short and then swung back into play by the Panthers, but it ends up going off a couple different players and into the hands of Mulaski.
So you see Snider trapping the corners, and Crown Point's trying to make the long cross-court pass. You got to shorten up those passes. You got to put somebody in the middle and attack and get out, move the ball.
As the Bulldogs back to the 4 corners look. Bottom left corner, it's Mulaski. Lofting it up to the top left to Darryl. Top right, it's Rhodes. Now Rhodes circles back, ends up in the top left corner. 4.5 minutes left to go. Darryl in the middle. Works it to Peters. Peters, who has 5 points in the game.
What happens when you dribble and you're not going anywhere?
Darryl and Mulaski play catch. Darryl has 22 points, and then there will be a foul taken. A foul called on Patterson. For Patterson, that's his 4th. It occurs with 4 minutes, 12 seconds left to play. Peters avoids the double team, brings it through the post to Mulaski. Back up top, left front court, it's Rhodes, and then Mulaski underneath the basket just loops it in for 2 with the left hand. Mulaski has 14 points, and he brings the Bulldogs to 70.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Just be patient. Something will be there.
Jarosit, the 6'5" sophomore, sends it right side Wilson. And then a right side three-pointer is short out of the hands of Patterson, ends up to Shaw. And now it'll be Bryce Peters slowly bringing it up the court with a little bit over 3.5 minutes left to go for the Bulldogs.
This is one of those. If this was a summer league game, they'd stop it right now, because neither coach really wants to it's over. The game's over.
Right, with the Bulldogs now knowing you have a second game to play, as we do have a final. East Chicago has their run come to its conclusion, falling 66-37 to Columbia, as there's a high foul called on Wilson, his fourth. But all of those scores brought to you by the Strachan Van Til hometown scoreboard. Strachan Van Til, shop for online delivery or curbside pickup at strachanvantil.com.
What a great run for East Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
No one saw that one coming. And they're loaded with young talent, right?
Absolutely. That game last week against the Mishawaka Marion, it was those freshmen helping them advance, and that's a team that will certainly benefit from this run and could be even better next year. As Peters going through the lane, lays it in for two.
He had aspirations of dunking that ball.
And it took a little something off it at the end, though, so ends up settling for the layup as a timeout called by the Panthers. With 2:55 remaining in the fourth quarter, Crown Point leads 72-45.
Yeah, Snider's taking their guys out now.
So we will step aside as well. You're listening to Game Day on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
Have you heard? Strachan Van Til was voted Best of the Region 2025 in several categories, including Best Caterer, Deli, Flower Shop, Food and Grocery Delivery, Fried Chicken, Place to Buy Produce, Place to Buy Seafood, Loyalty Program, and Grocery Store. We're proud to be recognized by our community, and we're committed to continuing to deliver the variety, value, and convenience you deserve. See for yourself what it means to be the best when you shop at Strachan Van Til.
As we are in the later stages of the fourth quarter, Crown Point leading 72-45, so both teams starting to bring in some reinforcements for Snider away to get some guys some last final reps, and for Crown Point trying to preserve some of the key players for their second game tonight, so we'll have more info on that in a little bit. And as the Panthers work it in the offensive end, it's poked away. KG tries to settle down for the Bulldogs. Reed KG brings it forward. Quick handoff to a partner. Serves it up, no good. Drohosky trying to track it down as it squeaks away into the Bulldog bench.
Good chance for young guys to get in the game here. Get their name in the scorebook. Get a bucket.
And certainly getting the say you played in a semi-state game. Sometimes in these playoff games, they're so close that some of the underclassmen don't get to make an appearance, but so in a game like this, just about everybody gets to play, as then rolling in a layup is Tarico Fields, the senior from Snider. KG cranks up a left side three-pointer. No good. Rebounded by Patterson. Back to Fields. But for Snider, certainly still a run to be proud of, as they were playing in a lot of close games in the sectional and regional rounds and made the appearance at semi-state as it goes out of bounds with 1:59 left to go.
The thing is Crown Point plays so many guys. And some of these guys are, Lux and Tika, these guys are contributors.
Yeah, as we saw them play 9 different players in the first half.
Yeah.
And so now you're over 10 players who have made an appearance in the game as they work things along on the right side. Christian Hughes in as well, gets it to KG in the post. KG paves his way forward and knocks it in for two.
Yeah, KG, he was in the first half as well, right? Strong kid.
He's one of those players occasionally can knock down a big three-pointer as well.
Oh, he walked.
And then down low, a missed attempt from Quarles as it's KG again underneath the basket, sends it away. It was blocked by Fields. So the Bulldogs will have it with 1:22 left to play.
We're officially at the point of the game where refs do not want to blow the whistle. So if you want to get a good foul in, now is the time.
Hughes looking for a partner on the inbound, gets it to KG. Down underneath the basket, up top. And now Lux works in the front court. 1:13 left to go.
So Lux might shoot it from there, knowing him.
As we've seen, Lux, he's 19 of 54 from three. Works it to KG in the opposite front court spot. But the Bulldogs just under a minute away. They will have plans later this evening facing Northridge in the semi-state championship.
Hey, real quick, congratulations Crown Point's going to have a busy night. The wrestler, Jesse Mendez, is going to be wrestling for a national championship tonight as well. So the square's going to be buzzing, Zach, in Crown Point tonight. Good luck, Jesse Mendez.
With 33 seconds left to play, the Bulldogs just trying to reach the conclusion here. As it was a big second half. And when things were close in the second quarter, but the Bulldogs found a way to really separate themselves from the Panthers. 17 seconds left to go as Lux drives it through the paint, scoops up a right-handed layup, good. Moves the score 76-47 as it's just about through, as driving down the lane was Quarles. His three-point attempt is wide, and that'll do it. Crown Point defeats Snider 76-47. They will advance to the semi-state championship to be played later this evening against Northridge. So the Bulldogs now make it a 10-game win streak, keep their push through the state tournament going.
They were impressive today. And again, it was a group effort, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I thought Mason Darrell played well. I thought Kingston Rhodes played well. I thought Cooper Molaski had a huge game. So, on top of I thought Shaw played strong. That was my concern, was seeing if he would compete with the meat inside from Snider, and he did a great job. And he was that's a great team win for Crown Point.
So we will step aside. When we come back, we'll name some of the post-game award winners. So stick around for that. You're listening to Game Day on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
IBEW Local 697 isn't just wiring buildings. We're woven into the very fabric of Northwest Indiana. We're your neighbors. Our kids go to school with yours. We stand in the same bleachers cheering for the same high school teams. When you hire a union electrician, you're not just getting the highest quality work. You're supporting our community. IBEW Local 697, proudly powering our own.
Calling all current and future homeowners in the Northwest Indiana area. Whether you're buying or selling, Brent Wright is here to make your real estate journey smooth and successful. With years of experience, personalized service, and a deep knowledge of the market, Brent will help you find the perfect place or get the best deal for your property. Call today at 219-406-7195 and take the first step toward your real estate goals. Contact Brent Wright, the right way to buy and sell real estate.
When it comes to your money, you deserve more than just numbers on a page. You deserve someone who sees the full picture. Meet Mark Machnick, one of Northwest Indiana's most trusted accounting professionals. Whether you're running a business, planning for retirement, or just trying to make sense of tax season, Mark Machnick, located in Highland, makes it simple, personal, and believe it or not, painless. Contact Mark and his team today at 219-595-5290. Mark Machnick, CPA.
Sometimes the hardest part of improving your business isn't coming up with a great idea. It's knowing what to do with it. Chester Inc. Architectural and Construction Services is ready to meet all your industrial and commercial construction needs. Whether it's a small build-out or a complete construction project, Chester will design, build, and finance. Our team eliminates multiple contractors, providing you a single point of contact while staying within your budget. Chester Inc. Architectural and Construction Services, turning your ideas into realities.
With electrical services from Economy Electric Heating and Cooling, you can radiate the perfect amount of light and energy into your home. From rewiring and code upgrades to ceiling fans, lighting, security, and more, Economy Electric Heating and Cooling's trained electricians will make sure you can enjoy your home on full power all the time. For a free estimate on electrical work, call Economy Electric Heating and Cooling at 219-923-4441, and you can visit them on the web at 4ajobdoneright.com. That's the number 4ajobdoneright.com.
You ready? Let's go! Yeah. For those of you that want to know what we're all about, it's like this, y'all. This is 10% luck, 20% skill, 15% concentrated power of will, 5% pleasure, 50% pain, and 100% reason to remember the name.
Your future starts
here!
At Blyce, we're used to having the athlete shop at our store.
Down, sit, put.
But sometimes they get carried away. Blythe. This is where the athlete shops.
As Crown Point defeats Snider 76-47, it's time for us to hand out some of our post-game awards. It's time to name the Crowell Companies Lantern Man Superhero of the Game, Crowell Companies, the business professionals.
What do you think?
I think we should go with, for the Crown Point Bulldogs, Mason Darrell led the way with 22 points, did a lot of work underneath the basket on both ends of the floor to work for a lot of rebounds as well.
He was fighting amongst the trees, as we mentioned. He was active. He was everywhere, and like I mentioned during the game, he's a competitor, and he's a guy you want on your team and would hate to play against. So that's a great choice here tonight.
As we move along, it's time to name the blue-collar player of the game, brought to you by Boilermakers Local 374. You can earn while you learn with Boilermakers Local 374. The blue-collar player of the game tonight was...
Again, it's so hard with these guys because you got a lot of role players, but I'm going to go with Cooper Mulaski. He had a couple big threes, one early in the first game, in like maybe their first basket of the game, and he was really active in the glass. And again, he did really well in the trenches, in the paint against some really strong dudes. And he did a really good job tonight, and that's why he's our blue-collar player of the game.
Keeping things going, it's time to name the proud-to-be Union play of the game presented by Ironworkers Local 395. To find out how you can become a Union Ironworker, visit ironworkers395.com.
We went with the Bryce Peters 3 right before halftime, as I was kind of mentioning at the time about the understanding of controlling momentum, and Snider had made a couple shots before halftime to kind of cut into the lead. It was at the 10-point lead at the time. They took it down to 6, and then Peters making that 3 at the buzzer put it back to 9 and kind of controlled the momentum a little bit. So I think that's why we went with that as our play of the game.
Yeah, that was a good point in the game where Snider was kind of surging, bringing it close, and then Peters just seemed to energize the Bulldogs with that shot. So now it's time to thank everyone involved with today's broadcast. A reminder that we will be back later tonight for the semi-state championship between Crown Point and Northridge. Coverage should start around 7 o'clock Central Time for that one. But thank you to our executive producer, Chris Ramirez, to Rich Castillo, our coordinating producer, Zach Miller, our sports director, Mike Dewan, to my broadcast partner, Doug Nelson was my broadcast partner.
Zach's the man.
Pardon me,
You could just say Zach's name over and over again if you want.
Yeah, Zach doing a good job producing, making us sound better than we are, as all of his duties. Thomas Marsh was on the scene as well, handling, creating some content for various platforms to the coaches of each side. Clint Swan of Crown Point and Josh Rickonen from Snider, the athletic directors, Bill DeRolla of Crown Point and Steve Ziembo from Snider, and to Jackie Roast of Elkhart for being very accommodating at our host site here at Northside Gym, and to the listeners at regionsports.com, YouTube/regionsports, and Facebook/regionsportsnation. This is Leo Stauder thanking you for listening to Game Day on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.